So, it is 1752, after the fire, or AF, the 33rd day of the season of Dirge. 2 days before the new year, the beginning of the season of the Twin Dragons. It has been weeks since the announcement by Curag of the Giants that his people will be leaving the Twin Dragon Empire. The Giants have founded their own kingdom in the lands of the north, no longer answering to the Empire. In response to this announcement, Emperor Braga has declared that he will not allow the Giants to form their own kingdom on his borders. He will relocate the Giants to a designated area where they can govern themselves, but be in view of the Empire at all times. The Giants refused, blatantly and pointedly, when he offered this. Curag, in response, has now placed checkpoints of his giants all around the borders of their new founded kingdom. And if anybody has walked past, giants are the only allowed. Anybody else is met with immediate imprisonment or violence. With so much tension between the two factions, businesses have suffered all across the northern kingdom of Gonta. On the far east side of the continent, in the dock city of Baikingu, the Merchants Guild has begun to see a decline in their trade profits. And as two major cities of the empire have closed their city gates to outsiders, the guildmaster here, a dragonborn named Hexen Blackscale, is assembling mercs from the other guilds in order to discover information that may help with the expediency of this conflict. We find ourselves now in the Merchants Guild of Baikingu, sitting around a decent-sized desk, clearly meant for the size of maps if need be, but decorated with ornate gold and silver pieces of different variants when it comes to jewelry options. Necklaces, rings, all spread out and hooked on these small little hanging hooks around this individual desk. Sitting behind it is a not too much imposing when it comes to height, but you can sense there is a feel of superiority emanating from him. As this black-scaled dragonborn, dressed in a large black coat that you would see in a military naval officer's uniform, decorated with these silver adornments, even more than the ones he already has on his desk, and even a few gold ones, including gold earrings and a few gold finger rings, is Hexen Blackscale, behind his large wooden desk made of black oak that you would only find in the Giant's Forest. Across from him, Serenity, would you describe yourself?
Across from him is a very small, about 3'5", white-furred Paragon, aka bunny rabbit thing. Very young-looking, very lightweight, is wearing kind of snowy-like gear, and has purple eyes. I got a little
Serenity,
drawing of it.
as you sit across from Hexen and look at him, and you see, looking back at you, unlike what everybody else sees normally when they talk to him, you see the soft eyes of a concerned father figure. This business is not good. I need you, more than anybody else in my organization, to take care of these issues. And right now, you're not showing me the prowess that I typically expect from you. I understand you have been distracted as of late. I have not heard as many positive outlooks, and I've even had requests to prevent you from doing business for me. You are a kind individual, Serenity. I am very proud of you in many other ways. You still lack the backbone for this business. But, that aside, I'm happy to see you again. Glad you are back from your trip. I hope Uncle was kind and behaved himself.
To an extent.
You recently just came back from a trip from the capital before they had closed their borders to visit your uncle, the Copperhead Dragonborn. You know him as your uncle, though he is only a sworn brother to your foster father. He was informing you, or you were sent there originally, to discover information on whether or not the closed borders would be a long-standing order of the Empire, especially on the dock city itself, due to the importance of ship-traveling businesses that your father relies on, especially when it comes to trade from the western continent of Brax. While you were there, your uncle, very pleasant as always. You always thought of him as more of a suave individual than your father is. He always tries to present a aura of superiority to his people as well. And he is a little bit flamboyant. But that always was kind of the fun of visiting your uncle, was the kind of more serious nature of your father was kind of given a break every time you got to visit him. Your father also seemed to always kind of distract himself and walk away when you were around your uncle because they didn't really get along too much. So that also gave you a little bit of reprieve from your father's overbearing personality. But from what he has told you, and from what now you have discussed with your father, is that it will be a long-standing border patrol. In fact, now there are taxes that will be charged to anybody trying to enter the city, even for legal business, which is going to severely raise how much it costs to transport goods from one place to another without someone else noticing, is the nicest way to put it. Another way to put it would be smuggling. However, it is a business that you have grown accustomed to, as is pretty much been around you since you were young.
I'm starting to get Mafia or Dawn vibes.
Very much similar, yeah. He is a legitimate businessman who runs the Merchant Guild. But, of course, even merchants have to find ways to get past the governmental influences, such as high taxes.
Okay, Mafia.
Let me make you an offer you can't refuse.
That's exactly what I'm saying. It is not the news I had hoped to get when you finally arrived, but at least I know now. I have another job for you, but we can discuss that later. In the meantime...
Recycling is in there, the one in the bag.
Why don't you take a little bit of reprieve and go visit your mother? She's been worried sick about you. And I haven't heard the end of it since you left. She will be in the tavern as usual. It's one of their busier days, especially with the new year coming up. They're expecting to have a large group of individuals partaking in the next few nights. Be careful as well. Not everybody knows who you work for, so not everybody is smart enough to know not to do anything. So don't walk into any dark alleys if you can help it. Right. I have business to do. Be gone. Go have fun. I'll call you when I need you for the X job.
Of course.
As he ushers you out, you see him kind of pull out of the drawer as he usually does a large brown book that he uses as his main ledger, and pretty much uses it for all of his information. As he takes it out, you see that it has definitely been worn and torn, a bit more so over the last few weeks that you've been gone. So you gather he's been flipping through it very often these last few weeks. Either meaning business has been good or business has been very terrible. Oh, and while you're out, he said before you're exiting the door, if you wouldn't mind, I have run out of my special drinks in the back. I asked your mother, but she's not very happy with me right now, so if you could do so and have them delivered, it would be very appreciated. You can ask Finn to send his boys. Thank you.
I just kind of wave off as I leave.
Alrighty. So, as you exit out and find yourself in the by Kingju Merchants Guild, you see it variably busy, like you would see it every day. So, clearly, business as usual. Many people are at the front desks, mostly asking for loans, as this time of year is very hard for many people. The winter becomes even more difficult as the new year comes up, and as the difficult times of the trade business has also affected your father. It has also affected all of their businesses as well, including trade with anybody who would buy the local farming produce and the local meat product, which is typically aquatic life. Anything you would like to do while you're still here, or would you like to make your way to the tavern?
I will make my way to the tavern.
Alrighty. As you exit out, you have to struggle a little bit as you walk through the crowd, but most of them recognize you and give you a little bit of a reprieve path, at least as much as they can within this crowd.
I'm about to say I'm short. I can kind of walk. I'm 3'5". I'm kind of just ducking under them.
Well, yeah, and majority of the people here are half giants, so they very much tower over you. Most of them being at least 6 foot.
I literally do duck.
So it is hard for
everybody.
many of them to notice you, but they've gotten kind of used to you being around, so a lot of them take notice and kind of, avoid the direction. As you exit out, you find yourself in the quiet, open, kind of midday sun glaring over the snowy field of gravel and ice beneath your feet, as it typically is. More so this time of year as the cold has increased, as the long weeks are coming closer and closer. The tavern is kind of about 3, I guess you'd call them, what's the word I'm looking for?
Stories?
No, blocks. It'd be about 3 blocks down to the western part of town. You'll be looking for the Furback Tavern. As you're traveling, I want you to make me a perception check.
$17.
17. As you're traveling through, you take in turn to make sure you're looking at your surroundings, which you've been trained to do. And as you're walking around, you start to notice just the hint of that feeling in your pit of the stomach that something or someone is watching you. You start to notice it more so as you get about halfway to the tavern. But as you continue to walk, though the feeling stays, nothing seems to actually take any action. So whatever it is, if it is anything, is seemingly keeping its distance.
Never mind. I thought that was something different. Go ahead.
Eventually, you do see the large sign on the side kind of hanging down about 3 feet long with a large... The description would probably be best as a gorilla on the sign with large white fur all the way around its body, except for the very back, which kind of has a giant tuft of like a dark patch to it. This is also referred to as a furback. There are wildlife that live deep in the high mountains near the Twin Empire, and they're amusing for a lot of people as jokes, because the aspect of these creatures, when you get to know them, is very humanoidistic. So they refer to a lot of their cultural aspects, even though they're animals, to what you could associate with people around you. So
I just look at the sign, and in my brain I'm going, furry.
The only distincting feature about them that is clearly different is they have 2 sets of arms instead of 1 set, as most bipedals do.
More fur to pet.
But as you enter, the bustlingness of the tavern begins to echo around you.
Hold on, get my beat that. Why? Where's enough? Stop barking at everything. Enough. I parked in the driveway.
Go lay down.
Is that okay, Brian?
What's that?
I parked in the driveway.
Yeah.
I meant to ask about that. There's clearly a sign out there that says "Don't park."
Oh.
But I did park.
Where?
Up like in
On
the
the cul-de-sac?
yeah.
Oh, you're fine.
There's a subtle little sign off to the right. There's a huge cul-de-sac, and I was like, "Who's going to come back here
Yeah.
and call the cops?"
There's only 2 of us down here, so you're good.
Really?
It's what I did last time.
The
I
entire
forgot
cul-de-sac only 2 houses?
No, at the very end.
Oh, okay.
The brown part. So, and we're friends with the neighbors, so
Already.
it's all good.
As you enter in, the signs of a excitable and growing group is definitely apparent. As you see in the distance, familiar faces all kind of glare up at you with smiles on their faces, as they typically do when you enter into the room. The most prevalent ones, of course, being the blue-skinned infernal behind the bar, Finn, the owner of the establishment. Or basically the owner of the establishment. He runs it all, but the actual owner is your father.
Okay, sorry. Finn, what?
Just Finn.
I know, but what is he?
Oh, he is a blue infernal. So he has large kind of curving horns in the top of his head, a kind of small blackish goatee kind of tied up into a little braid, and you see him wearing a large white apron over his kind of dark gray tunic.
Gotcha.
And then kind of staring up at you, actually, because they are shorter than you. The small goblinoid kind of stares up at you. There you are! There you are! Come over here and give mother a kiss! As your foster mother is excitable, as usual, to see you after a long week gone.
What's her name?
Yeah, it's in your notes.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought my notes said my mom died at childbirth.
No, that's your mom. Your foster mom.
Well,
You said Finn was her dad.
No. The dad is the merchant guild owner.
That's what I thought.
That's Hexen
Hexen
Blackscale.
That's what I
Foster
read, the
father.
foster father. I thought I heard something about Finn being.
In allies.
oh, that's why it just didn't show me everything. Oh, okay, so I already have all these notes. Guna.
Guna. She is a small green goblin. Her and a few of the cooking staff are some of the only few Braxians that actually are living up north here, so they're your only knowledge of what many Braxians look like. Though you are aware of humans, you've just never seen one. But the other dominant people in Brax are goblinoids, such as orcs, goblins, half-orcs. All right.
You were saying? Sorry, I got
No, I just...
distracted.
Oh. There you are. Come over here and give mother a kiss.
Every time, do I have to?
Yes, every time. Always kiss your mother. Right, Finn? Yeah. Right.
I'm not picking you up this time.
Oh, such a disrespectful daughter. Who raised you?
I wonder who.
Oh, so snarky.
Who do you think I got it from?
Ah, that's my girl. All right. As you walk over to her, she being just a little bit shorter than you, doesn't, it's not difficult to just lean down as she gives you 2 kisses on your cheeks. respectively. Or respectively. Now, good. Father told me you were back. I need your help.
Before we get into all of that, just because you know how my brain is, Finn, Dad says to send the boys with his drinks or something.
I told you he'd want a refill. I don't care what he wanted. I wasn't giving him anything until my daughter was back. Hey, you don't have to answer to him when he gets angry. I do. That's your problem, not mine. Tell your old man I'll have him delivered. As soon as possible. Yes, go ahead now, it's fine. My baby is back.
Oh.
Now, come back with me.
I sigh as I follow.
As she leads you back into the kitchen, you see the other two kitchen folk, a tan goldish skinned orc and a red skinned hobgoblin sitting and kind of taking what appears to be a break. The hobgoblin is smoking what appears to be a large pipe, and the orc is chewing on something. Oh, welcome back. Right. Just as I was getting relaxed. Yes, now get back to work. As he puts out his pipe. Fine. As he puts on his little toga and gets back to the main cooking area, the large orc kind of just stands up, towering over everybody, and goes to the dish area. Oh, work. And make sure you spit that out in the trash this time, not on the floor. Oh, filthy animal. That's why we only have him doing the dishes. Right, now, where was it? Oh, as she kind of scurries over to her, you could call it a desk, but it's basically a small little table in the back of the kitchen. And she goes through a small little drawer. Here, wait a minute. Neat. And she takes out a small little parcel, kind of wrapped like you would a scroll. Alright. I need you, as she takes your hand, I need you to hold this and keep it with you until I tell you ever to give it away. It's very special, and I need you to deliver it to someone. But I cannot tell you who that someone is. I know, it's confusing. Trust me, you will know. We need this time. I've been waiting to give this to you. Now that you're grown, it is time. You cannot open it, because it will only open when you are in front of that individual.
Is it gonna explode in my pocket or something? How am I supposed to know when I'm in front of that individual?
They didn't tell me that. They just told me that
Who didn't tell you?
the individual who gave me the scroll.
I'm so confused.
You think you're confused. I'm the one who got it. But that's what they told me to tell you.
And yet you're passing it off to me.
That's what they told me to do.
What if it's a trap or something?
I don't think it's a trap,
It could be.
but I don't think it is.
It doesn't matter what you think, but it could be.
Well,
I think it could be.
then I guess you'll find out. Right then, back to work. Oh, speaking of which, and before you even notice it, she has wrapped around a apron around you. Time to get to work. Busy day.
I thought I was supposed to go back and help Dad after this.
No, don't worry. We'll take care of the delivery. We need your help to work. Everybody's been missing you. All the fine customers want you back out there. Go. Make happy people. Make us money.
But I have other things to do.
No, you will work. Then you will rest.
No, Dad's not going to be happy about this.
I'll handle it.
Sure, why don't you handle everything else?
Of course. This is what mothers do best. Alright, and as you get to work...
How's my accent? I'm trying.
It's good.
I'm trying so hard. I'm kind of just playing off of you and copying what you're doing, which is really helpful. Thank you.
Sitting off in the corner of this tavern, in the far corner table to the west side of the door. Opang, would you describe yourself?
So I am a Goliath, white and reddish of color, mostly white with some reddish highlights. I'm bald with a scar down the front of my forehead. I do not look overly friendly by nature. I have what we call a resting bitch face.
Oh, so if I'm about to go waitress, I'm thinking to myself, oh great, a Karen. Or walking over, oh great, a
350
Ken.
pounds,
Yes, it's
7 foot tall Karen.
It's like the Darren.
What was the other name for Dick?
Richard.
Richard? So you have Karen and Richard because that's the play on words.
Kyle's is like your bro that likes to get you drunk and come. That's like younger. It's probably like what before it becomes a Darren.
There you go.
It's phases. It evolves like a
I am bulking in size, muscled all over. I
That's
have
all
a
you-
little bit more than a loincloth, but not much. I have a strap that carries my little man satchel.
hey.
And I have a great axe that sits beside.
How tall are you?
What's so great about it?
How tall are you?
7 feet tall.
And I'm 35. I'm literally going to be up to this dude's knee if I walk up to
Just
this
under
table.
So, okay. As you have been in this town now for the rougher part of 2 weeks, this is the first time you've met this individual coming out of the kitchen area in far back. Small hair folk, which you've only heard about briefly due to the fact of being in here the last 2 weeks. People have been talking about this individual a lot, kind of talking them up. The reason you originally entered into this location was because the Adventurers Guild right now is having a hiatus on hires right now, so you've been kind of at a standstill for income. With the militant situation in your homeland being as awkward as it is right now, putting a finer term on it, it has been difficult for a person of your skills to get really any work other than other side of the militant situation. So, as you've enjoyed these last, or probably not so enjoyed these last few weeks of relaxation, which to someone of your ilk is horrible, horrible experience.
Right.
It is only made worse by the smiling faces of all the crowd now as this individual walks out of the kitchen. They're all greeting them, just adding to the anger you have felt these last few weeks.
Why are you making him more angry at
The
me?
noise.
That's the perfect background, please.
Sitting at the same table, as they always often do with you, are 2 other fellow adventurers that you have worked with before, though still are rough on whether or not you trust or like them. You know, it's only been a few weeks. So who knows?
He's snoring. That's a snore.
Sitting
I'd
to
be
your
impressed if otherwise.
Right.
Sitting to your right, Hidrick. Would you describe yourself?
Pretty young tiefling of fairly almost like stereotypical classical demonic look if you ask me, with red skin, black hair, yellow eyes. A little bit of horns going on, but it kind of blends in with the hair.
Nubules.
Yeah, they're not super gigantic necessarily overall. Not very tall, just under 6 foot. Again, fairly thin. Again, most things say pretty youthful, but there's just enough to him that you can kind of tell he's seen some shit at least. So he doesn't look like he needs to be young to the point of taking advantage of or trying to be nude.
He can handle himself.
Hopefully, let's see what the dice say.
Right.
That is Midwood.
Hidrick.
And what's he wearing?
There's leather armor.
So kind of a brownish tint.
Yeah, you can see a couple of daggers strapped in here and there. Because again, I think that I don't need anything to cast. Right, I believe one of my features is arcane focus. I don't need any.
Correct.
I don't need
Certain-
a catalyst of any sort.
uh,
So you can tell that I've got
certain
armor
spells,
and
yeah.
daggers on. So people wouldn't necessarily know it, which is part of why it's like there's something to me that's like maybe don't fuck with this guy immediately.
Yeah.
Unless you're just either very cocky or very strong.
Yeah, the few exceptions for spellcasting when it
Let's
comes
say
to
I have
focuses
cheese
or
crackers, I have a
high
granola
price
bar, I've
requirements,
got
such as
Pop
diamonds and
Tarts.
stuff. But other than that, yeah, the majority of things you just cast straight from the book.
I technically have a thing for a water bottle.
So I tell my wife, she's like, "Oh, we'll just buy it. Maybe we won't eat it." I'm like, "Bullshit! I will eat it.
Just put buying it.
Don't have it in the house,
I tempted to eat on my Pop Tarts now.
right?" That's my girlfriend from Canada. She's actually on a business trip. She'll be back tomorrow morning.
Kidgwick, you've been here for the better part of about 2-3 weeks. You kind of lost track of time as it has been a rough attempt to kind of survive now in this outer area. Having grown up in the kind of
It's just
lush
the funny
environment,
things.
even on the
I
street of
feel
it, of the inner capital city, this kind of comparatively very small town on the docks has always kind of given that just boring feeling to someone who has kind of had to live as quickly as you've had to live. Being here and having gotten to know these two other individuals you're sitting with, fellow adventurers, or as others have called you, mercenaries. But adventure is always a preference for some because it makes them feel less of a villain. But
You say that like it's a bad thing.
unlike your companion, you have kept yourself busy these last few weeks, as the abundance of non-violent jobs hasn't ended. So you've been able to find some, adventuring requirements such as gathering resources from outside of the city, and it's kept you moving and kept your mind occupied. Though even in that time, you have also heard the stories of this individual, the Hare Folk, that stands above all things you could see in this northern continent, as any Tulian creature is something to be awed at by some and concerned by others, as most of the rumors that emulate from Tula express it to be a magical but also powerful land, and that's why it's always been one that kept to itself. So to see anything from Tula has always been kind of a fantasy or a fiction for most, especially in the inner capital city, where so less amount of people are even allowed in versus those who are allowed to live there. So other than the other infernals and Eratus warriors and the Dragonborn and kobolds you've known, this is one of the few places you've ever seen half-giants or any of these other goblinoid species, and even more so, never have you seen an individual from Tula, which is the easternmost continent.
The wind picks up again?
I was assuming that wasn't part of it.
No,
No.
I was like, that
but it
seems sudden
helps.
and new.
Trains
Yeah, right.
But it just
Yeah,
the
right.
last time we were here, it got so windy that it was constantly ringing, and the power even flicked a little bit. So to hear that going off and to see everything just whooshing, I'm just like, again?
You saw the windmill thing?
Mhm.
It's like concerning. Because I'm like, it's going like 90 miles an hour. And I'm like, oh god, it's going to fly off and get through the window.
Final destination.
Right?
That's why I can't drive behind a tree truck.
Right?
Any big truck, I just can't drive behind. I'm just like, no, thank you.
But sitting across from you, on the left side of the table, somewhat similarly curious, no doubt, but perhaps they're just thinking to themselves. If you would describe your character, Jareth.
Jared is fairly tall, slender, with gray skin, and he sort of always has his hood down over his face. You can tell he's pretty keenly aware of his surroundings. And then we don't see really any of his face details. You do notice just one swath of long silver hair sort of falling out of his
Jareth.
long brown leather.
And what is he? Oh, half elf, right?
Yes.
The
The other half.
Similar to the Tulian individual you both met now, both of you were also shocked a few weeks ago when an individual who had been here much longer one who is familiar with the Hairfolk coming out, though is never actually talked with them. It is very rare to even hear stories of elven individuals, as the only ones known of are those that dwell underground in the furthest southern continent. So to even get a glimpse at someone that could possibly be from there, even one who is human, which is a somewhat close design for an elf, is even more of a surprise to see in this part of the world. So surprises abound in the individuals you've met since both of you left your respective homes. Jareth, as you've been here now for roughly around 3 months, having been not so subtly dropped at the last job you had, you have been working as an adventurer, doing what you can with odd jobs that are provided, usually bodyguard work, or if you have the opportunity, gathering work that allows you, or
Trading underground.
as there have been opportunities working for the Black Scale organization, you've had other opportunities to do something more creative sometimes that isn't so much shined upon by others. But it pays the bills. So you have gotten to know this Hairfolk individual, by reputation at least, fairly well, as you know them to be the adopted daughter of the hirer and owner of Black Scale organization.
The Downfather. Sorry.
What's up, sir?
Yes.
But you've never actually talked to them. Oh. So as this individual has... So all three of you are...
How do you know my name?
All three of you see this individual walking out of the back from the kitchen door, dressed in a white apron that is adorned with the fur-back design in the front. And as they begin to walk around and greet guests. As you walk out, Serenity, you see immediately to your left and right individuals who are very familiar. Majority half-giants, but there are a few dragonborns, mostly of white scale or dark scale. And as they kind of see you walk out, you can see the glimmer of their faces yet again perk up. And all of them start calling out for you. Oh, serve me! No, come over here. I need something. We need drinks, right? I just served you drinks. We need more drinks. Quickly, come over here.
I will be with you in a moment.
No, over here. Here first. As all of them are vying for your attention, as is typical when you've been gone for a few weeks. This place has always given you a very warm welcome, as most of these individuals have lived in this village their whole life. So they've seen you come when you were a small little baby and have seen you grow. So most of them are basically like family to you, in the sense that they've known you that long.
Playing on the riverside, baby.
I was actually completely cleansed up. Alrighty. So, as you continue to serve and serve more and more drinks, eventually you come to a table that's filled with 3 individuals you don't know.
And I'm immediately intimidated by dude's size.
You've seen many half-giants. This individual, though is not the tallest you've seen, is certainly the most intimidating you've seen. As the majority of the ones that are in this village are not fighters, but fishermen or farmers. So, typically you don't see them with such a grumpy outlook on their face.
And the axe. And the loincloth.
And all 3 of them seem to not have anything in front of them. So you gather they have either not been served or have not ordered anything.
I walk up to your table. Welcome to the Furback Tavern. Can I start you guys with anything?
Grog! And not one of the little boy glasses. I want a man-sized glass. Do you have a keg?
Every time he speaks, like my little droop ears just immediately like, whoop, just stand at attention. Trying to be tall. Got it.
My guy's not mine.
I will see what I can do.
Yes.
Glass of wine, if you.
Are there different types of wine in this place, or?
You have two options: white and red.
Red wine.
I didn't know if maybe this place only had the
that's
one or
fair. It
two.
could be like a Bordeaux.
I didn't get the pre-waitress breakdown.
I want my discount.
It's the I break everything discount.
Would that be white wine or red?
Red, please.
Coming right up. Turn around and kind of quickly shuffle off.
As you come into the area of the bar, Finn kind of looks to you. You alright there?
Why does he look so pissed?
Oh, he's been like that the whole last these weeks.
He's so loud.
He's been like that all these weeks. Don't worry. We got a special keg just for him. We had to develop it last week.
Will I be able to carry it?
We put it on wheels.
Okay, good. Give me the other two first so that I could use both my hands for the other one.
Alright. Let me see what they're
I give him the thing.
Alright. I'll have to open one of the bottles. As he kind of ducks down, pulls out a really dusty bottle of wine.
Not the typical fare.
It's aged. That's a good thing, right?
As long as the cork's on, it doesn't turn to vinegar, so yeah.
Back then, they done.
Standards were a lot lower.
I don't think you can get drunk. Once it turns vinegar, it's no longer alcohol.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll stay alcoholic for
Will
a
it?
good while. It just won't taste.
It is very much just gone by the time it's good to vinegar. I mean, there's still some content, but the majority of it then is just, you're not going to get as much. The potency is definitely going
Water
on.
will kill it.
But yep, as he pours what appears to be a very nice wine into a mug that you pull beer into.
What happened to our wine glasses? I know we had at least a few.
Think your dad took them. His broke.
Of course he did.
We don't have a glassmaker around here, and can't really afford to go to the city for one.
All right. Hopefully he won't ask.
How much do I fill this up?
I don't know.
I guess we do a half. It's wine, but just a half cup. As he fills this large mug halfway full with the wine.
It's like four
Still
glasses.
pretty
of wine.
good.
Still pretty good. That should do it. It's easier. Puts that into the mug. Alright, here we go. Onto a small little silver pan.
Pick up the pan. All fancy like I usually do. My fingers.
Why you on the back? Need the grog one again. As
Scurry my little feet back over.
you hear this kind of wheelie sound of something needing oil wheels.
I'm thinking like Monty Python.
You can see my ears twitching at the sound.
And it comes out on this little standing table with wheels in the bottom of it that you would see, kind of like as a kitchen holder for, ingredients, but is being used as a delivery service. With
What's the
what appears to
trolley?
be a about yay-sized cask cut in half. And then attached to it, you can see have been kind of a poor attempt at kind of nailing in
A handle.
a handle with the nails bent on the inside to hold.
That's flavoring. We call that flavoring.
I take the first set of drinks over and pass them very nicely to you two. I'll be right back. It's going to take both my hands to bring yours over.
So be it.
Meanwhile, I'm looking
Run back.
around at everyone else to see who might have the fattest first.
Roll me
You
a
may
perception
Be
check.
a little sister.
So you're a thief, rogue,
Druid.
druid,
I'm a warlock.
warlock.
Yeah,
What is it?
you've
Wait,
all been
where?
working together long enough to have seen each other's abilities.
Down there in the bees.
Have we been in the area long enough to know about
It's
whatever
alphabetical.
flavoring is poisonous to
Crit!
non-humans?
Yes.
Oh, I did crit.
The
Nice.
concept of frost sickness is very well known. So when you arrived in the town,
First
it
roll
didn't
the
take
game.
very long to
That's
discover
funny,
somebody who
baby.
had already been healed
Oh,
by
yeah.
it.
Oh, my
So
first
I
roll
kind of
was
saw
cool.
and
Okay, mine was
witnessed the
17.
horrifying aspects that it can create as
Where's
an
my
elderly
lovely
individual.
I'm just
He crit. He's good.
Another infernal, but of a blue tint, was completely frozen over in a shining blue petrification. And majority of the time, what they do with them is pretty much throw them into the sea, and they float away. Because it's not like a heavy petrification; it almost becomes like you're made of ice. So you just float in the water.
Would there be any kind of
Not
like
shitty death.
local efforts? So, for instance, like she's sort of from the area,
Just 'cause I
and
have a cough, I
as a
don't
non-native,
spread
or
nothing. So
like
put
a
it in
beer
my
from the area, just
thing.
so like your stamped ale. Would I know whether this ale is safe?
Yes,
That's
yeah.
like
You've been here
paying
long
with
enough
the-
to know what to do. They do serve giant drinks here, so that is a good thing to be wary of.
That's why they don't bat an eye when I ask for my
Yep. Giants don't typically visit this particular tavern due to it's not built for a giant. It is a standard sized person tavern. The Giants Tavern
smaller.
is further down the town and is a open roof
I
tavern.
get the thimble size over there.
So that was a natural 20. The total.
First crit of the game.
Nice. From what you see, majority of them, most of these individuals don't have very fat purses, considering the trade right now is so poor, especially for produce and food, which is what majority of this town produces. But you do see at the kind of furthest point closest to the bar table are 3 dragonborn individuals, 2 of dark scale and 1 of white, and the one of white scale seems to be promoting a hefty amount of garnishes and drinks in front of him versus everyone else around the tavern. So he doesn't seem to be hiding or flaunt or not avoiding to flaunt his wealth.
So I'm going to keep an eye on him just to see if there's an opportune time.
Roll me
Leave him
a
up.
history check as you look at this individual. As for the rest of
That
you,
is
8. Something about this individual kind of clicks. You're worrisome, but you just can't place where you've seen them before. I would like to, well, mainly you, I would like to roll me a perception check.
Just remember that I have mildly healthy.
Ooh, hey, will you grab me one of those?
What was it? I have a 3.
Oh, yeah.
He gets the great roll.
It's not a lot of interesting individuals around you. Majority of your mind seems to be distracted.
A lot of hustle and bustle.
There is a very busy day. Busier than you've seen it actually in the last few weeks. A lot of people, like I said, have been really talking about this individual as the reason they come to this tavern, and so they don't frequent it as often when the individual is gone. And now you've met the individual. They seem to be infatuated with this individual. You also kind of
I'm
get
the
this,
cute bunny girl.
you also kind of got the sense from a few individuals we talked to that a lot of the more well-to-do and wealthier individuals seem to have a direct interest in this individual. They seem
Yeah,
to
one of those
only
weird,
want
like,
to
a little
frequent
nozzle
or
thing I
come
fill
when
up
she
water, right?
specifically is there, no other reason.
Actually, no. Oh, but I do have
As for the reasoning of why, a lot of people aren't really sure. They just have noticed these individuals here frequently.
I just want to widen
I
my
had to get that
tripod.
free.
No, that's what you've been getting from your history,
Oh,
not your
gotcha.
perception. Perception would have been if you could identify those individuals.
Ah.
I can build this up, plug it with my thumb.
Shut up!
Normally it'd be my wife downstairs. Hey, bye.
Wasn't she
Sure.
last week then?
I heard a voice.
I didn't actually see it. Yeah, right.
Hey! No! Winston! Winston!
Hey, babe.
You joke, but there were times where like I'd be gone in college for weeks at a time. I would literally watch her streams, to go to sleep because it's lonely, man. You're going for that long.
Hey, we used to just Skype call and fall asleep.
Yeah, when I was in college, I'd be gone for like weeks at a time. I was rough because my college campus was like 3 hours away. So.
That and I'm a very lonely and depressed person, so when he was not laying beside me, I could not fall asleep. Which is why when he plays video games till 2 a.m., I'm not asleep until 2 a.m.
No, I'm similar. Like
Ups and downs, double-up story.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get comfortable until she comes to bed. Unless I know she can be late. She's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
So eventually I'm like, alright, I can go now.
Yeah,
But she goes out with her girlfriend or something.
Yeah, that's.
I'm never, because I always think the worst.
Yep. Mm-hmm. See, I am not the only one.
I'll go out just to dance. Like, I'm not drinking anything, I'm not eating anything. I literally just go out, dance, and come home. That's it. And I get it. It can be, like, scary and frustrating. It's like, then go with me!
Actually, that's bullshit. He falls asleep for half while watching TV. And then we get in an argument because I'm basically watching TV by myself. So she's like, I'm right here.
But you can't change it.
Yeah, right. Alright.
I like the commentary as I'm watching a show.
Oh, slip the critical role.
Nice. Matt Mercer does have a hypnotizing voice sometimes.
Anybody know who the Game Grumps are?
Heard of.
But, so.
That's who we fall asleep to. Yeah, they've got full-on playlists of, like, Zelda games. Like, they have a 9-hour video of them playing Zelda Wind Waker.
So,
Won't you mix?
as you guys enjoy your drinks, and time passes by, about an hour takes place before a couple of the patrons start to kind of get up, finish their meals, pay their tabs, and start to head out. As the midday draws closer and to a more evening time period, you also notice that there seems to be a lot more hustle and bustle kind of going on outdoors. There seems to be also large, kind of small quakes of ground, which is usually when one of the giants is kind of walking by the tavern. So that is something also that has been kind of a change for
take a little bit of it out, you'll get more movement from the liquid. I recommend.
They're just clumps at the bottom.
That's what I'm saying. The liquid itself isn't going to.
But that's another kind of one of those things that has changed in your everyday life is the frequent quakes of living in a giant's village. So,
Just from
other than you, who has grown up in
It's almost like the trolling of a bell at the time of the day.
you know when it's giants' time. They've come home from work and they're heading toward the tavern at the end of the town.
Oh, great.
So are we
Time to go back to work.
sort of treat this roads to we have a side? Like, do we think, would we, just being new here, think the Dragonborn or that were assholes? Or we just
This village,
or on some-
your individual things is your own character preference, but this village is definitely not a huge fan of Imperial. They're not really any issue against Dragonborns because Dragonborns are not exclusively living there anymore. Over the last few decades, many Dragonborns have moved out to the parts of Gonta, become farmers, fishermen, kind of joined in with a lot of the giants' villages. More so, they're just not happy when they see Imperial guards or Imperial soldiers, especially right now, due to the fact that this village specifically is kind of in a mid-standpoint, as they are not on Giants' land, because the Giants' land is to the northwest of the capital itself in the deep forests, but they are still frequented by many soldiers from the Imperial Army, claiming that it is just checking and making sure there are no enemies or criminals about. But everyone knows it's just because they're trying to keep all the current giants that are here in check, so they don't run off and join the, cause. So it's up to you how you interpret that. That's really more of an individual thing for yourself. But yeah, the village, not so fun with the Imperials. But Pidgewick, one reason that drew you here, though, is that because of the frequentness of Dragonborns here, you had hoped that Rabin would probably be found around here. As when the four of you all split, he had made mention of, similar to you, of leaving the city. And this is a frequent place for Dragonborns to feel more relaxed and at ease as you can get from being out of the capital. It's also a frequent area for criminal elements or less well-to-do individuals to hide out. As with giant buildings and giant cities, it's easy to find small spots you can hide as a regular-sized person. So, unfortunately, though, in the last few weeks you've been here, you've not heard or seen any sign of Rabin. But that is pretty much your only, I guess you'd call it, hint as to where your people would be, as Rabin's the only one you could probably find easier than the other two. As for you, Peng, though you've been here only a few weeks, you have noticed the frequency of half-giants, such as yourself, that have kind of joined and blended in with the crowd has increased. You have seen many more familiar faces that have come from your villages and villages nearby, which has kind of given you a little bit of, not so much worry, but just confusion, as you were under the impression that none of your people would leave the homestead, as that was the whole concept of building the checkpoints and staying put, which one of the other reasons why you didn't want to stay was because they were pretty much restricting your movement, saying, you can't go out, you can't go have fun, you have to stay here and be a guard duty. And that wasn't the warrior sense you really felt like you wanted. But you've been noticing there's been more and more of those in the last few weeks you've been here as well. That kind of, you don't know if they're following suit or if they're following you. It's hard to tell. Your family is well known in the Giants, but it's not one of the higher up families that require so much care and worry. So it's kind of one of those mid grounds of what could be happening. But it is slightly concerning, because the more and more of them that frequent, the more and more possibilities of the Imperial army frequently. So you could also say that could excite you, because that means there's probably some action behind it.
It's going to be made.
There's definitely bodyguard duty against Imperials is frequent in the last few weeks. As for you, Jareth, it's different, for sure. You grew up even underground, the culture of Solandis, which is the land to the south, the desert lands that you grew up under, very different. Very much more towards smaller villages. Not so much buildings. It would be more tents, and it would be more digging into the ground itself or into the mountainside itself. It wouldn't really be built homes. It would be make a home with what you can. So to see so many wooden and stone buildings so frequent around you, it's definitely a constricting feeling compared to what you're used to. Underground, you feel the sense and the nature around you kind of a part of your life, whereas everything here is dead and lifeless, and it's false.
Lots of places behind.
There are. This is definitely, you've noticed, the lands you grew up in are very strict. The concept of anything against the land's higher-ups or anybody who had to do with the Queen's Guard would be unheard of, and you would be executed on the spot. There would be no trial. There was no concept of, imprisonment. It was, if you go against the crown, you've gone against your existence. Therefore, you're dead. The only semi-kind gesture anyone's ever gotten is banishment, and that's about as nice as it gets.
I'm sorry, but the only thing going through my head right now is, oh no, what we gonna do? The king likes Daniel more than me and you.
Oh, jeez. But,
Thank you.
but you have come to enjoy the frequency of, at-ease purses and unaware individuals. So it's definitely made trying to live on your own a lot easier than you originally thought it would be when you left the underground. But the downside, though, is you have been dealing with the sun a lot more often. The sun is very overbearing. even in this wintry land. Though it has been severely nicer of late, as the weeks have come by and the long nights have started to become more frequent. You know of this time period, the long nights, as hunting season for your people, as they can come above ground and hunt the creatures above versus having to scrounge for the creatures below. So right now, if you were at home, you'd be hunting and having...
That's my last name. Jareth Long Night.
Oh, there you go. But yes, so it is definitely starting to feel a little bit more homey as the new year comes and the long nights start to begin. But as the time goes by, eventually, Serenity, you are stopped by an individual dressed in all white. A white-scaled dragonborn kind of grabs out at your hand. Excuse me, child. A moment of your time.
I'm fairly busy at the moment, sir. Can I come back to help you?
But now is the time you must. This is the time the Great One has said that it is now. And sit. I will pay whatever issue that there is with you taking a break. No one in this...
Pause. Would I know about this whole thing? Because I'm getting an inclination of what this is.
Roll me a religion check.
I was about to say,
And
Dirge!
the same guy that he was checking out had money.
This is the individual you work with.
I clicked instead of rolled my physical dice, but I got a 16.
So we're all sleeping through this.
Yeah,
Is it the bar kind of empty now?
the bar has, this is pretty open now, so you can get a good view of that individual. Now you get a better view because it was hard to see above all the people. You do notice, all three of you actually roll religion checks.
Oh, -1. I love it.
It's not funny, no one gets it.
Just the
You got a
action
10.
of being able to say it.
So you are familiar with this design. The other two of you have seen it, but you're not really too sure where it comes from. You just know it's somebody religious. But you both know that this individual is wearing the white robes that are traditional for a high priest of the pure dragon or the light dragon, Dirge.
Dirge!
D-I-R-G-E. And Dirge is one of those, some people call it a cult, but others call it, the faith, as it is the highest and most well-known faith pretty much in all of the lands. All four of them are all three that you all aware of. Tula doesn't really talk about what they do. But the other three lands, though they don't have practicing churches, are aware of Dirge itself. Dirge is a historical figure in religion as one of the 5 creators of the world itself. Dirge being the concept of light, good, and peace. He is the creation, basically, of good in the world. So a lot of these individuals have been described as either eccentric, or they've been described as, saints, basically, as doing the best they possibly can for the world. This individual is giving you kind of the earlier.
Wasn't Dirge a dragon?
Yes, he is described as being a long imperial white dragon. Imperial dragons don't have outward wings; they are just very long, snake-like creatures.
Like a Chinese dragon.
But yes, as he grabs your arm, please sit, I insist. Finn, this is not an issue, I trust. Well, no issue, Father. See?
I suppose this Finn's okay with it.
Good. As he sits you down next to him, you two, away. This is not for the ears of you. Of course, Father. As the two individual black scales stand up, and you now notice they're both wearing the dragon-designed pendant over their black robes, and they walk away.
Getting nervous.
I have come to you on the most urgent matter. You see, the Great One has spoken to me, as he does often, but now he has given me a mission, one that is specific to you. As you have appeared in the gifts that have been granted to me, the visions have shown you the pure white rabbit standing above all.
Okay.
I need your aid, and it will require much of your time. And I will have you immediately, as soon as possible, of course, if that is more preferable. I need you to leave. This town, these people, I need you to leave. And I need you to go to the Imperial City. I know you have just come back, so it should be no difficulty. But I need you to deliver a message to a fellow father of the faith in the capital city, high in the mountains. I know of, unfortunately, many methods that I'm sure your family is able to accompany. So use them if you must. But try to be as kind as you can in the process. I would hate for the message of Dirge to be tainted by evils. Now, I'm sure you have many questions. I will answer a few.
Are you willing to talk to my father?
Your father is not important.
He is if you want me to leave.
Dirge is the only one who has any say in what anyone does. You will go, and that is because you must go, and there is no question of it. Whether or not you go by choice is yours. But Dirge always influences the world to be as it must. So you will go. Any other questions?
I'm too stunned to speak right now. I'm getting creep vibes.
Excellent.
I'm just like, ugh. So somebody please get me out of this situation.
Roll me an insight check. Nice.
It's like, someone get me out of this.
How visibly uncomfortable she is.
Very.
Also, how far away from us?
They're at the front where you are in the back, so they're about 15 feet from you.
Okay, so
I'm not keeping quiet.
it's like I was going to say, how earshot is this? The bar is chilled out. You're only 15
There's
feet
still
away.
enough people talking where you can't really hear what's going on, but you can see visually the changes of her expression. As she's sitting back
Her
towards the
little
bar,
tail goes
which
down.
means her face is
I'm
towards
just
you.
sitting there like, it's a quaint mug of wine.
And I'm thinking, can I get one more keg before they close?
Purposely pushing down the ears, like,
It is not a matter of issue, finances-wise. I can provide. Of course, I will only provide some, and I will provide more in return, as Dirge provides many boons to me, being one of his higher children. As he pulls out a small little satchel.
Is it a man satchel?
That I should have.
I was going to say, I was
That's per curiosity.
I was going to pay attention.
As he puts
If we see him pull
50
gold out,
gold coins in front of you.
if we see him do that, I'm going to take note of Jared's reaction.
I mean, my nat 20.
your perception.
You do see him kind of place the small thing of gold in front of her.
I'm gonna sort of.
And of course, there will
Creepy
be-
man, young, bunny girl,
I'm gonna
very
sort of,
afraid in the face, and he just put a bunch of gold in front of me. Help
I'm
me.
going to give Jared a bit of a I guess just everybody willing.
Let's see that.
Oh, I know what I want to do. Mom! Just yelling for her.
This is most unnecessary.
I am not very good at deal making. That is more my parents, and my mom is at least here. She can at least tell me if this is worth it. Because I don't know what's going to happen with the Imperial City and where I have to stay and things like that.
Fine. Where is your mother? I will talk to her.
She's in the back. I can go get her.
She works at this establishment as well.
Why do you think I work here? I'm forced to.
That's why I assume.
There's your reason.
Fine. Bring your mother to me.
I dash to the back. Freaking rabbit feet just...
I heard you calling for me. Sorry, you're busy. What's up?
Weird dirge guy wants me to do a message task or whatever. He put, like, this stack of gold in front of me. I don't know if I should take it or not, but it was enticing.
You mean gold is gold?
But he's so creepy.
Yes, but I've done worse things with creepy men for money. What? I wasn't always a man.
He wants me to go to the Imperial City, though.
Excellent. Well, that's where you're going to go anyway.
Was it? I thought Dad had a different plan for me.
Did he not tell you?
Not yet, because you made me work. I was supposed to go back to him.
Hey, no worries. I'll tell you then. So, your father wanted you to go back to your uncle. He's a little bit concerned about the situation as is, but he thinks he can convince your uncle to create sort of a constant flow of goods back and forth without taxation. Of course, it will require some work on your uncle's part.
Work, darn it.
So unfortunately, with messages being stopped, only individuals can get through. And our means are limited. So unfortunately, you'll have to go with a small group. But, good news. I already have the people picked out for you. They're very competent. Albeit a little bit.
Don't I get a say in this?
Of course not.
Why not?
Because you're still my little girl.
What does that have to do with anything?
And you're going to have the best protection that money can buy. Unfortunately, you're the best in a firm being found. The rest of the guild is all busy with work for your father. Most of them are out to sea already. So, you'll take these three and you'll be happy about it. And that'll be all of it. As you kind of just stare down at this little goblin, kind of staring a stern look at you. Now, let's get back to work. Go and say goodbye and say hello to your nice priest friend. And take the gold.
Okay. I give up and I go back.
You, serving goblin, refill my glass. Of course, of course.
Like I kind of give an eye to whoever just ordered that.
It's the
like
priest.
I know, I've given an eye. Like you don't talk to me.
Whoa! Now get out. The stench is killing me.
Who said that?
The priest.
What?
Ah, should be good. You are back.
We're not hearing this.
So,
Yeah,
where
I
is your
can't hear
mother?
anything.
You just rudely shoot her away.
Where?
The one who just refilled your drink.
The Braxian creature?
Yes.
I don't see the relation.
Foster mother.
Oh, I'm so sorry for you. It's alright. Even Dirge will look peacefully on those creatures. So perhaps Dirge was giving you a gift, or giving them a gift by granting you to them. More than they deserve, but that's Dirge for you. So great and kind. Now, I assume that creature gave you permission.
I'm just in a rage right now. Fine. I will accept your proposal on one condition. It's a simple one.
What condition would that be?
Apologize for being an ass to my mother. I'm trying to intimidate and I can't stop
Roll an
smiling.
intimidation.
I can't stop smiling. That's why I need intimidation checks. No, it was almost a 20, and it flipped over to 8. That's a 9. Giant.
Your intimidation is the same as mine. I find that very.
I got +1, but it was almost a 20. I keep clipping the things instead of rolling my die.
Right?
If she goes to the church of Dirge, Dirge will always grant forgiveness and kindness.
Is there such a thing as freedom of religion in this world?
But I'll break it in half.
In a sense, the majority of it is pretty restrictive. Imperial lands pretty much worship all dragons, which means Dirge and his 2 children, the twin dragons, are sacred, and pretty much it's sacrilege to do anything other than one of those 3 dragons.
And has my mom done anything that has been religious?
So, in this world, most every deity can be viewed in the real world. You can find and meet them. They are all animal-based, right, or related to some type of creature. So, if you're lucky enough to spot them, you can meet a deity, one who has influenced a creation of some part of the world. Each one has some other way that they've added to it.
So Dirge isn't like a formless, like ethereal entity that somebody claims to be like I'm in touch with.
Correct. However, it is an individual you can only see if you are either pope or a very high cardinal. So he lives high in the.
It still could be bullshit.
It could be, but yeah. Physically, as in physically, he does dwell in the mountains to the far west of Gonta, and pretty much it is believed more widely that he is in the highest, most point of the largest mountain asleep, and he only speaks to those that he deems worthy when they enter into his chamber.
And they have to be also driving door.
Pretty much exclusively, yeah.
What are the odds? Okay.
Was my mother any kind of religious since I've known her?
Brax doesn't have too many religious figures, but the Goblinoid people do have a form of spiritualist aspect. They pretty much worship the concept of life itself and believe that the animal spirits and the deities that influence it are all creatures that must be respected as they grant the different gifts. So yes, she is a form of religious, though she does not believe in one specific one. So she's more tuned to what you would say the naturalist spiritualist.
Gotcha. Well, if Dirge wants her so bad, he'd make himself known, wouldn't he?
Dirge only speaks to his chosen children.
I don't mean speaks. You said he influences all the things that happen, including me going on this trip. I'm guessing whether it was you or not who gave me the message. Which means in some way or form, he would encourage my mother to go to the church if he wanted it so bad.
That is a good possibility, and yes, that would happen.
Then she will go if that is what he wants. I just brain farted. Crap. Line! Darn it.
Regardless, you will go. Whether or not you choose to go by my will, Dirge's will always surpass. So you can go in hand, or not. It does not concern me, because you will go. I am simply the messenger, and once the message has been granted, Dirge's influence cannot be halted.
You cannot blame me for looking out for family members. I'm sure you would be not very happy if someone insulted your parental figure.
I would not care. My parents gave me to the clergy, which is their only gift to me. Dirge gave me everything else, including my life.
Okay, then you'd be upset if someone insulted Dirge.
No one can insult Dirge.
You can, you would just choose to ignore it.
Stop.
They're just words.
I have grown tired. Either take the money or leave. Either way, I have committed Yes, the dirge requested.
Alright. You can't blame the girl for trying.
Yeah, you should look ashamed. What the hell did you do? Wait till it stop.
For your insult. As he drops 30 gold coins down. As he gets up, may dirge shine upon him.
Why did I insult you?
As he walks away, and the two figures that you saw walk away all of a sudden appear behind him.
Profanities in my head.
Bunny curses.
Do I still have eyes on this guy's purse?
As he's walking by your table, you definitely do now. It is quite hefty.
I want to do it.
I mean, I have good sleight of hand, but I'm lawful neutral, so
I
my
hate
lawfulness
this guy.
is not.
I mean,
I don't think we're that
my,
good of buddies
my
just yet.
character
You can.
is literally.
Let's do it.
My character notes are when I see something valuable, I can't think about
Shiny.
anything but how to steal.
You got
That's
that.
my flaw.
Yeah.
Shiny.
But what's your sleight of hand? I'm just saying.
Oh, my sleight of hand is.
That doesn't suck. It's up to you, but
Either way.
As he's walking by your table.
Or I have mage hand.
Please
I can
do.
use mage hand.
You can use Mage Hand.
Is that how does that the dynamics? Is it harder to do that?
It's a different. It's still sleight of hand, but the DC is a little bit different depending on the situation. If you're using Mage Hand from this distance in the middle of the bar, it'll be a little bit more conspicuous than if you were just doing it yourself.
Okay.
And don't forget, he's got two buddies that were ready to turn you into an asshole if they do see it.
it would be 3-on-3. I just don't know if we want to get in a priest fight on day one.
Kind of run a.
Do your character, brother.
Your actions are.
Kind of want to
So,
run
but here's the
back in front of him before he
wouldn't
exits
be
the place, trying to stop him.
That's true.
Okay, it's possible.
Oh, that's fair, actually. Yeah.
You know, my guy's all down for the battle. Why are you holding your hands?
Well, again, as a lawful neutral character, I'm not exactly going to probably steal from the priest.
Can I dash and
I don't
try to
know
get in
well
front of
enough
him before he
to think
leaves?
deserves it.
I'm neutral, so
If you
I'm
want to,
down.
sure. Just neutral.
Sounds like it's 2 to 3. Do what you want. Again, I'm not going to tell you.
Okay,
what to do.
okay.
I'm just not going to.
I apologize.
Right.
Alright, let's do it.
He's gonna do
I
it.
am. I've got some information
You're
where
very
I know
pretty.
I'm gonna need more than this because, frankly, I'm broke. So I apologize for my words earlier.
Is he still walking
trying
by
to-
my table?
Just stalling you.
I basically am stalling him, but at the same time, I'm trying to get the 20 I've lost because I really am broke, and if it costs.
So you took 50,
I-
you took it down to 30.
Because apparently I insulted him when there was no insult. I was trying to get him to apologize for him insulting my mother.
He's
Well,
a high
why was
priest.
I in the wrong?
He's gonna do it. Even
So
I,
I'm trying to apologize and appeal to the inner nerd.
Alright, roll me a sleight of hand. 14.
Okay.
It's okay.
I mean,
It's okay plus.
It's over. It's a B minus as a part of the
It's a B
grade. It's passing, but not stellar.
it's not stellar.
We shall see.
How do you approach?
Oh, does he? Well, tell me the situation. He's walking by us.
So he's
Am
walking
I-
by the table towards the exit, but you're on the left side towards the door, or towards the wall, whereas he's on the right side towards the door. So you'd actually have to get up and
Oh, I thought he was
interact.
walking right.
I
No, he's
thought
walking by him. He's walking by your table.
I did just stop them.
Yeah, you're stopping
also-
them at their table.
You were going to use Mage Hand.
I thought I
You're in front of the door open.
yeah.
And then-
So I did stop
okay.
them.
I'm just gonna go look for the bathroom and bump into him.
As you bump in and your hand slips, you are pushed instantly by the dark figure behind him. As he grabs your arm, pushes you away, pulling your arm and the grasp you have on it out as he stares at you. You will not touch the high priest.
Oh, high priest, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go scurry off.
Oh man, beg for forgiveness.
I'm gonna go hide.
I'll
I'm gonna go find the bathroom.
I'll just start laughing.
Father, what shall we do with this thief? As he has a grip on your hand now.
I'm gonna.
As he looks to you.
Alright, guys, look. There's been a bit of a misunderstanding. He's from a very different region. He's a bit clumsy up in these grounds. Still adjusting. We just got up here not very
Who
long ago.
are you, infernal one, to talk to one who stands above in the light?
You know, potato. I'm kind of his buddy,
I just got to town. I'm so sorry.
We're just again, we're new to town, isn't it?
And I did not know you.
Where he's from.
Roll deception checks.
Okay. This guy.
19.
14.
Sorry, you're
It's always the cheap stuff.
Talk about my heavy ass metal guys.
there you go.
I don't have to win something.
Perhaps Dirge will forgive with a donation to the church.
Well, I mean, surely George would understand that a man as humble as myself has very little to give. What kind of donation are we talking about?
I think a simple donation that anyone could afford for a great service such as Dirge's good nature should be no less than 20 gold.
And that's what I'm trying to get out of him, man.
So can I hear this conversation?
Yes.
So, the next time I have lunch, I'll be sure to pop on down to George's neighborhood and drop it off. Things are a bit tight right now, looking for next big adventure. But again, by George's honor, I'll absolutely come through. When he comes through for me and lets me find that 20 gold.
But you see, as a righteous man, I must take this evil villain in to the proper authorities.
Okay, so I'll stand up a bit.
For clearly attempting, as the other guard holds up his hand, to dare touch or even think about touching the purse of a holy man of Dirge.
I'm going to be like, Jared!
Sorry, I didn't know, guys.
I'll stand up at this point. And then I'm going to do a forward somersault in the air. And I'm going to do the MCU superhero landing on one knee with my great axe.
Roll me an acrobatics check.
Oh, God. This style.
What?
7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
You manage to flip
It's ugly.
over the table at least, but the rear end of your very heavy legs tilts forward as you fall flat on your face and kind of budge your back legs onto the table. You kind of go from the table onto the ground.
I'll say, woo! That half cake was stronger than I thought.
If I try to break
Oh,
the
try to play it off.
dexterity.
As the priest is now distracted, staring down at you. Roll intimidation check.
Oh, no.
Oh, 19.
Nice.
I keep forgetting I have guidance. I can technically give y'all a boost.
I suppose Dirge can forgive, as is his nature.
Woohoo!
Much appreciated.
It's ugly, but I'll take it.
I'm gonna pull away and just.
Release the creature of darkness.
I'm gonna go hide.
When you get back, make sure to burn off your hand as much as you can, so the villainy and evil does not seep in.
That's kind of strange. People usually talk
Do not try to pick it again. You had your chance.
I think people usually talk about lots of people and shit and not actual forms.
I mean, yeah, nobody knows. Nobody.
And my apology.
As he just brushes past you, I am not in the mood.
Here I was trying to be a good person and apologize. You'd think Dirge would be forgiving, as you said.
Roll persuasion check.
But my physical dice this time. Come on, snow dice.
That's good.
18.
Nice.
Persuasion plus 1, so 19. Penguins! Look at those.
Oh, yeah. Fine.
That looks like Gunter from
10 gold. The forgiveness. But do not forget.
Yeah, everybody gets one.
As he walks out and the two priests fall behind him. The door swings closed behind you.
He did not get the gold, bro.
No, he did not.
I'll
So
get
I
it
was like,
nonchalantly like nothing happened.
Basically, like, because it wasn't successful and luck was on our side, nothing's bad actually. We just didn't
Yeah.
any extra gold.
No harm, no foul.
I sigh and
That's
walk to the back
Right?
in a grump.
Hey, hold on, miss. Excuse me. Do you know that man?
No. And frankly, I hate his guts.
I could kind of tell it. Honestly, I'm kind of sorry about that. We were, I don't know, just kind of having some fun. Is everything okay?
Strong.
Bro, you talked in a very full sentence. Just a minute.
Yeah, everything's okay. He asked me to do something, and then he went and insulted my mother, so shit happens. I managed to get most back out of him, though, thankfully.
Something out of it.
Something. I'd rather have it all.
Maybe there's something more for that in the future. We'll see how that again. I don't know. My name's Bidwick. This is my friend Gareth. This is so fine.
It is a pleasure to meet you all. My name is Serenity.
Greetings.
We've kind of heard a lot of chatter about
Sorry
you.
about that. Just trying to mix.
Okay, so now table talk. I'm assuming that we are the ones that the mother is looking to hire. Do we know this? Do we know any of...
You do not.
Okay. So no one's talked to us about hiring or anything?
Nope.
Okay. Back to play.
But I know her from.
You know of her from being here for so long,
Yeah,
but
just
you've never
chat,
actually
chat.
in person talked to them. And
You've been away on some.
talked to the mother many times, as been to the tavern once or twice.
So Serenity, I've seen you here quite a bit, and I think you worked with Black Scale too, right?
Yes.
So,
He is my father.
oh. Well, might you need anything transported? Anything that's maybe difficult to acquire?
It's kind of our thing. He's the mover. I'm an info guy.
It's
Muscle.
quite possible.
I have somewhat of a network.
You know, he's trying to send me on a kind of information thing back to the Imperial capital. I can send my mother out here to talk to you. She might have some more information.
All four of you notice poorly attempting to sneak up behind with a small goblin just kind of walking up.
Mom, you cannot creep up on me. I have told you about this.
Thought it would be fun. But either way, glad you all have met. So, I'd like to hire you all right now, right here, to escort my dear daughter to the Imperial capital city. I know that will not be a problem, because if it is, Black Scale will have you all killed. However, you will all get paid for this, so it is enough.
Yes. Money.
How much are we talking? Because
I'm just sitting here, mouth open, like,
potentially trying
what the fuck?
to have to get his dirt fees.
Having a deity as a debtor is difficult. I can keep it subtle. Perhaps 50 gold apiece, and another 50 gold on safe delivery back to him.
That's all I can drink when I get back.
Tell you what, I'll do you one better. I'll
Mother?
give you all you
Mother.
want to drink from now on instead of the 50 gold.
Mother, we would
Doing
go
simple
bankrupt.
math.
Depending on how long you want to drink that.
Mother, he would drink us dry. Don't worry. You make these rash decisions all the time. Did you even talk with Dad about this?
We're going to have to talk to the father.
Because he technically owns it.
Fine,
Yes.
I'll take the money.
He's dumb.
If
but
you're
he's not
sure. But now that we all have an agreement,
It's just real quick. So
bad. My
we literally,
persuasion even
it's just a
sucks.
pure escort mission. There's no danger. We're on the main path. People know we're coming. They like us there.
Hmm.
of course, there should be no issues.
You're talking to a goblin.
And I am giving the visual
And
cue
the
of
life of-
headache. Like, don't listen to what she says.
That's about my going rate. So you know what, I'll take it. Especially as like a first time customer. I feel like that. Jared. Okay.
Sounds good to me. What's your
Agree?
name?
Disagree?
I'll spit in my hand.
Me?
It's a deal.
Oh.
I know her
It's Guna.
You know.
name. That sounds great.
I thought you were alive.
I like staying alive, too.
Yeah, that's right.
My dyslexia just got the best of me. I was pulling up the allies so I can see Guna again. Goblin is waitress up at Furback's Tavern, but when I first read through it, I read through it so fast that I read Fuckback's Tavern.
Nice.
That's down the street.
Freudian slip.
That's down the road. Other side of town.
That's the one with the.
It's almost as bad as when I saw a box of pens.
Shit.
Pens got turned all kinds around.
Perfect. You all receive payment. You go and make sure that everything is settled with your father.
How how capital is this capital city? Like if we're, for instance, if he's from like the south,
Imperial City.
or like if I'm from also like the main city, like do we definitely already all know where that is in relation to where we are?
You
Finn's
know
the
where the capital
bartender.
city is. You grew up
Hexen
in
is my
the
dad.
lower
And
part
I'm
of the
pretty sure I
capital,
would tell
which
you
is
about my
at the
uncle
base of the mountain. The actual capital city, where pretty much all the high doing wells, you've only been in once, and that was through many unique means of a child. But it is on a very large, basically.
But this is near my own stomping ground.
Yes.
Like, I'm very familiar with this.
Very much. Yeah. But to get up there, you would have to climb either the sheer cliff of the mountain itself, or you take the elevator, basically.
Oh boy, am I really pleased with some of my spell choices.
Interesting.
Guna, how about a little of that up? Was that the deal? Oh,
You
yeah.
have
yeah.
50 now, 50 on saber turn. Pretty much 50 each way.
Makes me think I should have made that priest guy pay a
Now keep
little
in
more.
mind, 50 gold here goes a long way. 50 gold in the Imperial City, not so much. So be wise with your expenditures.
So he said we're just
That means
delivering
they
a message.
have,
We pretty much just kind of pop in, pop out.
Of course. You are wise, you may come out of this very wealthy.
I was about to say, I certainly was not wise earlier.
Just don't piss off the priest.
I'm about to say, almost had 50 just to go to there, just like what she was giving. And it's like, no.
Are you one of these dirge people yourself?
I am of many faiths. I believe that all the creators watch over us. Dirge, of course, being one of them. Though the
Think
restrictive service towards only Dirge I've always been a little questioning of. But I've met very many good priests from them. The other one notwithstanding.
Sure, you know what? Whatever floats your boat.
Someday you may come into contact with one. Your whole world will change.
I've had some contract that has changed my world.
This is good.
I
We
actually
get that.
snicker in character when you say that. I'm just like,
Over there.
nothing.
You need some shade here.
Well,
Wait, what?
He said he's about ready to have a date with your mother.
No, I'm just.
That's not gonna
part
like
of, no, part of my
that.
backstory is
I
I have
know.
my own
if she
contract.
pulls out a fan,
It's so I was not in any way trying to be flirtatious.
your dad is being boring.
When do we leave?
Honestly, I don't think
Do I need to go tell Dad anything, or can I just go?
Well, yes, I don't have the gold with me. So you'd have to go to the office of the Merchant's Guild anyway to be.
Oh, no.
And it'd be great because your father won't have to explain anything to you. So I've already done it.
Can you at least put in writing how much you're paying them so he doesn't get mad at me?
She takes your arm.
Why are you writing on me?
Until you don't forget.
You can't get it all over my fur.
It's fine. Wash up. It's ink.
Stop writing my arm.
She draws a small little heart.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like the note for lunch. Right?
I'm just slapping her hand away and like just holding her back by her head, like you can't reach me now.
I'm just
Can't reach me now.
seeing this, watching two little ones go back and forth.
Very well. And she gives you a giant hug. Tries to wrap her arms around you. Be careful. Make sure to come visit tomorrow before you all leave.
While they're chit-chatting real quick, so since I'm familiar with the capital city-ish area, and how like long of a journey
You came here
without much trouble?
you came by foot and trudged through a lot of back road and forest. It took you about 5 weeks to get to this village. On the main road, maybe about a little over half that. So probably about a 3-week journey on a consistent pace.
So knowing that, I would like to try to like lean over to my compatriots while they are doing this mother-daughter routine, and we're like, we definitely need to try to get down to We're gonna go on a long fucking journey. They're not gonna make us spend our coin. They just paid us what I suppose, okay?
Good idea.
They're other merchants. These guys know people. They're connected. She's connected with their daughter, and they've got to make sure that we're doing the best that we can do to take care of her. So,
Right.
just
Yep. We should
I'm
have.
trying to see if I can hear them.
Oh.
Jeez!
Roll perception.
+5 in perception.
when you use
8.
fails.
I rolled a 3. That's a
Your mother is talking your ear off. Be careful. Make sure to always don't forget to clean up after yourself.
Mom!
Remember to
Mom!
clean your undergarments.
Mom!
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Please!
Let's do this. Wait!
Bye!
Don't forget your apron. I'm gonna have some in. Goodbye. Nice to meet you, Miss Gonta. Take care of my daughter. I'll have you okay.
I ball it up, and as you're saying, I ball it up, and as you're saying that, I throw it at you, so it like kind of like hits your face and kind of droops over.
You need the best.
Fuck off! Why are you sniffing me? What?
It's in a bird. It's nobody.
What did I just sign up for? Back to home.
Come
I'm
Liz,
showing
Alex,
you the
tell
way.
us where we're going.
No.
Again, our funny goblinoid Braxian stuff.
Black scaled dragonborn?
I can see the resemblance.
Foster family.
She's the tavern.
He is head of the Merchant Guild.
Oh shit. Okay. It just sounds like a shrewd one.
What would be considered the mafia in this world?
Since I'm the most equivalent you could call the mafia.
Criminal.
There isn't so much mafia in the north, but there is an organization that is well known
Like
about
the concept, what it would be called in this
The Illuminati.
Because again, I have criminal contact, for instance. So like, if
the
I
best
would know,
description would be that he plays the game. The game, of course, referencing towards the game known as in D&D, it's called Dragon Chess. Basically, it's a form of chess, but it's basically shogi.
Yeah.
And so the organization is a Braxian organization, and it's one of the first criminal elements to be historically written of. And it is pretty much like the Triads that has a very long history that has been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. So most everyone who does any kind of criminal activity now pretty much refers to themselves as a game player. And so they try their best to try to play the game.
So, as a criminal spy background, would I already know him?
You would have heard of him, yes, because you've worked for the Black Scale Organization, which is pretty much the under version of the Merchants Guild. So it's their not public version. So Black Scale.
My child gang recital, so technically criminal contact with the skill.
Yeah. So there are different organizations spread across. The game is just the biggest one, and pretty much everyone eventually has to associate with the game if they want to continue to do business outside of their own country. Because pretty much all import and export from all countries is run by the game.
Okay. So what was the question you asked?
I was basically like, it's a bit of shrewd romance.
Oh no, he's a total sweetheart.
Oh, bit of daddy's girl art.
Not really. That's why I leave often.
But as the sweetheart, it sounds like you've been taking care of. Safe assumption?
Sure.
Your mom seems awfully sweet on me.
Sure.
It's looking back.
As you
Just the bunny ears twitch, like, do you not think I don't hear you?
Well, you do want to be kept safe.
And we need supplies.
When you need to be safe, we need to do our best.
Why do you think I was trying to get that freaking priest guy to pay me more? Really should have went for it.
I was.
Right, but I mean, I'm talking about the fact that we have gold, if we have end supplies, and take gold to make supplies.
It just all depends, because right now, I'm sure, as you've seen, the Merchants Guild is not doing very well now that trade of goods has been severely slowed down.
Well,
So we're having
let's
this
go find
conversation
out.
as we're walking, though.
Yeah. Casual walking conversation. Walk and talk.
I'll try not to step on anyone.
eventually, though, you guys do see the kind of stacked gold pieces sign, which represents the Merchants Guild.
Here we are. Just make sure to mind your manners is all I can say. Walk in.
As you guys walk in, the amount of people, so to speak, has severely dropped since you were here earlier today. But there are unique individuals for most of you. Some of you are familiar with their kind, but most of them keep to themselves their own villages in the upper areas of this part of the continent, in the small tree lines and the cave systems in the smaller mountains. But you see multiple bird folk standing kind of in a group of line outside talking to your father. You can't quite tell what they're talking about, but you can clearly see your father is not happy with the conversation.
Are the bird folk in a V?
Nice.
Oddly enough, actually, they are. There are two up front and two to their sides. So it's kind of more of a U. But
I'm going to kind of do like the hand wave to gesture for them to just hang back for a moment, and I'm going to basically sneak. I'm just small enough to do it. Walk over to my dad and kind of just chill next to him like I've been a part of this the whole time.
And who are you? As the kind of slightly
make myself
more
appear
stout,
shorter.
dressed in kind of a traditional purple armor. It's kind of like a scaly leather. And then next to them standing is a similar design, both of them being dark furred or dark feathered with yellow beaks. And kind of like you would see almost like a penguin.
Penguins!
Oh, no. Yeah, pull that open. And then it's the back.
Yes, actually.
Yeah, you made it.
Yeah, they are penguins.
You made it. I assume it was penguins.
Hey, Jill. Winston, Jill.
This is my daughter. She is not important to this conversation. It is insulting. The one next to him starts to talk. It is insulting for you to be here. We do not discuss with any hired help.
Quiet!
I'm going to pretend you didn't tell me about that. And I've already told you our conversation is over. Our conversation will be over when we say it is over. You owe us a significant amount of money, Blackscale, and we are here to collect. Then I'm afraid you'll be leaving empty-handed. I already told you, Grisk, I don't have it. Tell your boss he'll have to wait. He has waited long enough.
I'm gonna just step up and it's 2 bucks.
I was about to cast one of my spells, but okay.
Yes.
Read my arm. Thank Mom for that.
As you see, I don't have a lot, because now I have to pay these individuals to protect my daughter on a trip to the Imperial capital city.
Frankly, I don't need the protection, but Mom is very persistent.
You're going to the capital, you say?
Oh, no, not another one. Please tell me you're not a Church of Dirge. Long story short, just get on with it.
We are
My
not.
accent rocks.
We are individuals who have business with your father. But if you have business in the capital, and you can help us. Yes! The other one speaks. You can do us a favor.
Favors left and right from everyone. Jeez.
As you see the one kind of standing back, one dressed in a large white robe. Favors. That sounds like your voice.
Nice.
Okay, that's adorable. Who is that one?
Silence!
I'll step up.
They are not important. They are mere servants.
I want to pet it.
Focus!
The 6-foot-tall bird.
I want to pet
You do not talk to my daughter, Linda.
my whole shtick is I want to pet anything that looks soft. I've even walked up to like a straight polar bear and just been like,
Tell Graba that I will pay and a bonus once I have it. When my daughter returns in month's time, I have everything I owe and more. Not good enough. Your daughter will do us work as well. That way we will take your bonus and are on. Yes! The other one next to him speaks up. Favor for us.
So
You
can I hear this?
understand? Fine. Daughter, I'm afraid I must ask you for more aid.
I will do it
Are we
if
able
it's
to
coming
do this?
from you.
Yeah, you guys are kind of just standing behind all these birds
That's gonna cost you.
as all four, their heads completely turned, but with their bodies standing
Like
still.
owls.
Who are you?
Holy shit. That's actually kind of cool.
The help will be silent. The help will be silent.
I'm no help.
I see.
I am a warrior. You treat me with respect.
I treat you like what you are. A body shield. Now move out of my way as we have business to attend to.
As they're talking to them, I'm gonna kind of lean closer to Dad, like, something for them? Because I did just come into some gold. I can help a little bit.
Roll me a stealth check.
Okay. Because that's how, I feel like that's how he would calm down a little bit. That's cool. Crit! 22! Haha, my first crit of the game.
I seem to notice you talking. As much as I appreciate it, don't think it's going to do much help.
Anything I could do to help you calm down a little bit?
Any second.
Mr. Blackscale, should we take care of these guys?
No, I do not want to make enemies. Especially not of the flock.
It's not like the dirge.
No.
If I crit on stealth, can I go pet the
There's a
serpent?
head's gonna turn from you both. Our business is concluding. Our business is concluded.
Y'all didn't even tell me what exactly it is I'm doing in the capital, because I've got like 30 other errands.
Your father will give you the details. Yes. Good. Draga will be pleased. Let us go! Let us go! As the other three begin to walk out, the one that is cloaked in a kind of black hood steps in front of your hand before you do so, and just kind of stares at you with a glowing red eye, and turns.
You're so fluffy and cute.
You notice that one's beak, though covered in the hood, you could see the glint of red on the beak, instead of yellow like the others.
They were lovely.
Poor thing looked hurt.
No. He is referred to as the Silent One. Don't worry about him. It's just how he looks. That's why they make him wear the hood.
I'm still kind of sad.
He is what they call an albino. He was born with a different pigment of feathers than the others. The flock is not very fond of differences, as they believe in unification. So, those that do not meet with the flock's identity become servants, the unseeable, the silent. This is done by removing the vocal cords.
That's just for bird people. They're not coming after us because we're obviously not.
It depends if you walk into their villages.
Good to know. Speaking of walking, we're not going to run into bird flock people on the way to the capital, are we? By the way, hello. We're taking your daughter to the capital.
I read the note.
So
I do not
we need
know.
supplies.
Draga is unique. He is a very fat bird, and that means he comes with a lot of desires. I have been working under him for many, many years. And unfortunately, it always comes to more and more payments. But it's either that or the flock takes away everything,
He's paying for protection.
so to
Interesting.
speak. More of I'm paying to dwell in his lands. Your people, though, dwell here. They don't exactly do anything to keep it. They mostly live here and do not care for the land itself. So, this village was built by Duraga, for Duraga, in order to own his own piece of produce for everything. So, you're standing basically in his private sanctum. He comes into town when he wants, takes what he wants, and everybody has to pay him. Even my organization is too small to fight against it. That is why I hope to gain some aid from your uncle.
And he's in the capital.
Correct. He is part of the Scaleborn. You know them. The Scaleborn is the name of the organization that pretty much runs under the capital's nose. Predominantly all Dragonborn, but of course there have been some Infernals that have been, asked politely, so to speak, to work for them in exchange for housing, especially when they're orphans.
So,
Interesting.
well, what are the odds that your brother, as where we're going, to do something for the Dirge, and is there any chance that the Dirge and the Flock don't work?
Oh, there's a good chance of that.
Okay. So maybe we do like a shittier of two eagles kind of thing. I don't know. Sounds like we could at least kill at least one bird with a stone. Pun intended, everybody.
Good plan.
I don't.
Aptly choiced words as the mission I would request of you. Mostly of you three, as I don't want my daughter's hands involved in this. There is a
As you say that, I throw out like a little mage hand. I'm like, oh, I think that'll be a problem.
aggravating member of the chapel in the city. Not of Dirge, but of Suki, the dragon of love, or other things.
Oh no.
This individual is a high member, and as such been using their influence to reduce the amount of land the flock owns by expanding the imperial domain. This will be a very difficult task. The Temple of Suki is at the very top of the mountain of the imperial capital. It is guarded by the imperial dragon riders, and many of its frequenters are high mages of the school of Shin. So, it is not a job for the faint of heart. They need to be silenced one way or another. Killing them, I would not suggest, if possible.
No kill?
Unless you think you can take on the dragons, I wouldn't recommend it. But, from what I understand, the Temple of Suki has many ways that you can offer in order to have requests baited. Unfortunately, the flock and their kind are not welcome in the Temple of Suki. Pinguis are a very private people. They don't associate with any other members of the Gontanese. They believe themselves similar to your people to have been the originators of this land, and as such the most entitled to it. So, that being said, similar to your giant friends, they don't like sharing. The difference being is they don't also come across as intimidating. So you can imagine their land has been restricted more and more as years have passed. So Draga and his people are one of the few who own anything worth mentioning. And Draga will fight to the death to keep it. He will not give any more of his land. And should this issue not be solved, I believe your little civil war will be the least of this land's problems if Draga becomes involved. Whichever side he chooses will win. And if he doesn't like the imperial capital, something tells me I know which side will win.
So what is it exactly you're sending us to do?
Prevent the civil war from going the way of the giants. No offense.
None taken.
As much as I respect the giants' wish to be on their own, if they win this little bout and take over the capital, trade will become non-existent. Giants don't trade. They take, they eat, and they sleep.
Yes, yes.
Not much in the way of negotiation. However, your people are more sociable. So, my hope is that the civil war goes a certain way, which is why I am sending my daughter to discuss a sort of underground trail that we can establish between us and the imperial capital in order to assist and speed up, so to speak, the talks that will hopefully take place between the half-giants and the Eritis. Eritis are the name of the warrior people that your infernal origin come from. Eritis is the name for basically the term warrior in your tongue. And it basically is, they once were very honorable people. The equivalent basically of what we would know as samurai. And they originally served as servants to the imperial capital. However, when the giants decided to vacate, the giants, Kurag specifically, who was one of the more educated of giants, offered a deal saying if they get the capital, then the Eritis can also have it. Because they would have no need for such a small city, high in the mountains. So basically the trade-off is the Eritis betray the Imperial and get the capital for themselves. So that's why this whole civil war thing has taken place so abruptly, because all of a sudden the forces that are now on the giant side outnumber the dragon riders. The dragons are intimidating, but they're limited. So the Imperial capital isn't looking so hot in the civil war right now, with giants and a army of warriors against them, especially the army that was supposed to be defending them.
Interesting.
So it's a little bit one-sided right now, and it's got a lot of citizens afraid. Giants, though, are not as stereotypical as in some stories, are still pretty much, what you'd expect of a giant. Why should they listen to anybody else when they're 3 times the size of everyone else? Kind of comes with the personality you get as you grow up with that benefit. So it is a rough time, especially for organized crime, because you can't really do organized crime with people who don't even have organized lives.
Or why negotiate when you can take?
Exactly. Whereas organized crime is, you can negotiate to take more than you usually get, but it doesn't have to be everything. But, that aside, I am hopeful in our negotiations. And once our organization begins to aid a little bit more, and we can take care of this member, the flock will stay out of this conflict. And that is the goal. If it does not go that way, I want you all to make your way back here as quickly as possible with my daughter. I don't care what it takes. I don't care what you have to do. She comes back alive. The rest of you, I'll double your pay.
To 500? Wow.
Don't even try. He read the note.
This seems a little more complicated.
I don't think he was trying
A walk to the city and back. So,
Are you expecting trouble on the way?
You are traveling, incognito. So it will be a slow trip. I cannot offer you one of my wagons, as it is well known to everyone. However, there's not to say that this time is not dangerous, especially as the season grows in the new year of the long nights. Creatures will be frequent now. The sun will not come up for days at a time, which means it'll be up to you to keep yourself safe in the dark. So there may be many dangers. Whether or not they can speak, that's up for anybody's guess.
Any chance we can anticipate friends on the way, and maybe some kind of similar sigil of yours that we could kind of flash to get like a little hotel discount, something?
There are some ways that my daughter is aware of on the road itself. You will come across a small town as you come downward halfway through. When you reach this town, you merely need to go to the local tavern. You will recognize the name. I use the same one for all of mine. It is a hobby of mine. The Thurback Tavern will be there waiting for you, as it was here.
So since this is more of a complicated trip now, I think maybe 200 gold apiece.
Unfortunately, I can only offer so much.
100?
We were going to get 100 total, and he said
so
the 200.
Maybe
I can only
300
offer the
each.
50 gold you were promised now. But when you arrive with my daughter alive, I will give you both, all three, 150 gold, making it a total of 200 apiece.
Can you please
Plus
we need some
provisions.
supplies?
Yes, we need provisions.
Including
That is more easily easily provided.
Including human.
That less so.
And a keg of grog.
That I can do.
You don't have to worry too much about healing potions. I've dabbled in the magic of the land, and I know a couple of healing spells, as they say.
Those lessons with the priest were worth it.
Don't remind me.
She was nice. Though, I heard she retired.
Good for her. I'm kind of talking about all the other ones.
Oh yes, the one who came into town. I know of him. High Priest Brightscale. He is a troublesome one.
Was that our friend from the tavern?
Yes.
Sadly, he is frequented more often. Unfortunately, with the issues going around, the Church of Dirge has been moving as of late, expanding toward our direction from the west.
To which I tell him about the encounter with him and, of course, my stupidness of trying to stand up for my mother.
You did well. I would have killed him.
I would have been there to back you up. But sadly, I could not get
When
what
you
I
reach
wanted
the Church
out
of
of it.
Dirge, talk to the priest as this man has requested. Take their gold, but do not do anything that this new priest requests of you.
Oh no, he gives me creep vibes.
Not that one you talk to when you get to the capital.
So
Oh.
speaking of that, before the vote,
Do you know? Don't worry about
I
that.
thought we kind of got it in that stuff.
We did. Remember, I did my
you
intimidation.
Yeah.
My ballerina act.
Yeah. Do the scary flip. So, any way we can leverage these Dirge fellas in this? I mean, they're dragonborn. There's dragons over at the Imperial capital. We know that they're not going to try to align.
There is a quite large gap in between the power of Suki and Dirge in the capital city. Dirge is still growing there. But they are not friends of Suki. Though, of course, they do not speak sacrilege of any dragon deity, she is of the lesser when it comes to their preference, as the concept of love that she teaches is somewhat sinful to their eyes.
Seems like maybe.
Yes. Dirge is the god of peace. Apparently peace is very boring.
Well,
When do we leave out?
Immediately tomorrow morning. Your supplies will be provided to you when you reach the Furback Tavern here in town before you leave.
Because Mother insists I say goodbye.
No, because Mother also has all the supplies.
I suppose that
Because she probably knew I had visitors. She didn't want me to kill them. She always seems to be ahead of me in everything.
So basically, for you, we're going to talk to her uncle. For Dirge, we're going to talk to some priest. That's pretty much it. Turn around, take a bunch of gold. She's safe.
Well, for the flock, you must also talk to the High Priest of Suki as well.
I'm
That
sure.
one I can't get you into. So that one you'll have to be clever about.
Fine.
That's why I'm doubling it, because I didn't expect that high of a requirement.
Speaking of coin,
Okay.
do we
so
get our 50 now?
Oh, yes, of course.
Yes, yes.
As he
out
walks into the back office and closes the door behind him.
out of game. Basically, the three missions: talk to Uncle, talk to High Priestess Suki, and talk to who else?
High Priest of Dirge.
That's 150 on delivery.
Okay. Try to be nice, please.
That's all I know.
I'm all one for heckling, but seriously, the Merchants Guild has not been doing very well right now. I honestly don't know how he's going to come up with this.
As he comes back out, he hands you three, each small little pouches, purses.
Coin purse.
This is all I can provide. 50 gold apiece. I'm sorry I cannot provide more. Be squaring with your expenditure.
I understand. I take it we have some kind of place to stay in town already?
Yeah, you guys can stay at the Adventure Guild for pretty much it's
Like dirt cheap.
5 copper a night.
Alright.
Yeah. It's very cheap because most of them stay there, so
Right.
it's basically like renting.
And then I stay at my house.
You actually, your house is above the merchant's guild.
Exactly. I'm already home.
So we're
Alright,
meeting at the
so
Furback in the morning.
We will bed for the night and get ready for the morning.
I will meet you all at the Furback in the morning.
Excellent.
Good night to you as well.
No.
Did I just hear little one?
Yes.
Does my ears deceive me?
As you all vacate, I would like you all to roll perception checks.
I'm guessing that's not me.
The second one, 20th night.
Nice.
And actually on a perception as well.
Ooh, I got 21.
All 3 of you notice as you walk out, in the distance, a familiar cloaked figure that you just recently saw walk out of the Merchant's Guild, kind of eyeing you all. And as they see you see them, they disappear into the dark behind.
Is that bird fella?
I don't know. Should we go check it out?
Yeah, sure. We should. I feel like they hung back on purpose.
Let's go introduce ourselves.
Just gotta say
I don't
hi.
like being followed. I'm the one that follows. You go say hi, and
No,
I'll sneak around.
but you.
Reduction is 4.
I'm pretty sure he already knows you're going to be somewhere. You can sneak if you want, I'm just saying. This goes quite intentional.
Okay.
As you guys walk towards the dark, kind of behind a house, and you walk in.
We're going behind, like around the
Wait,
corner.
what happened?
Yeah,
Damn it.
As we walked out, we noticed a cloaked figure that it's like, I think, feeling clues that they look familiar. I'm assuming it's that one bird that you had the boats remove because they were pigment, they were kind of albino.
Right. Okay.
Potential
Potential ally.
Yeah, and it sounds like they went around a corner, so I'm just curious about, like, there were 3 of them and this one hung back, and so I would like to keep an eye out for, like, some sort
Should
of
we
trap or
follow?
something. Well, yeah, I was gonna, let's go introduce ourselves. But,
roll a
definitely-
perception check.
definitely keep an eye out for any fun business. Fucking shit. Keep asking me for perceptions, please.
22.
I am
22.
nailing these.
As you guys cross the
It's
corner,
time to battle.
you see him in the dark, kind of just standing behind what appears to be a couple of crates. And as he ushers you forward, you all start to hear creaks coming from the buildings next to you on the right and left.
Hand on my axe.
You have insulted the flock. You have insulted the flock. And for that you must be punished. Punished! And all 3 of them pull very long, curved blades.
These bitches want to fight?
Basically like katanas.
These are the 3. Are they the same 3 guys?
They look the same, but you gather that there's 2 that are to the other side are not the 2 that you talked to earlier. But they sound a heck of a lot like them.
I want to talk my way out.
Is the one that...
And that is where we're going to end for them.
Hey.